Alright, YouTube, it's time for another video. Uh, so this one I think is mostly just going to be about, again, it's a continuation of 2007 and how we're stuck in this time loop that's never going to end. And I truly do believe that social media has just, again, the level of societal stagnation and just dumb fuckery that it's caused is so it's not talked about enough. I mean, I think more and more people are talking about it, but this is like the entire world is revolving around 10 websites and you know, the 4chanification of it all. Um, the reason why I say the 4chanification of it all is because, so as somebody who has definitely spent enough time on the internet and has observed internet cultural trends dating back to late 90s, early 2000s. I was about a decade old when I started to really use the internet a fair bit in like 2001-ish. Um, but I was using it, I was on like a game FAQs back when I was probably 8 years old. I wasn't really on the message boards much, but I was definitely using that website for like Ocarina of Time and crap like that. Um, you know, so fast forward to like the mid 2000s, like 2006, 2007, 2000, maybe even in '05, but I'd say '06, '07. I used to go to places like 4chan, and, it is some of the dregs, at least back then. There was this whole like, um, they thought they were like the final boss of the internet, and there was this obsession with like kind of just overall just like really just a mind state that is going to mentally check you out of society and life and just basically numb you to everything, right? And that started around '06, '07 when I believe that site really started to explode in popularity. Um, and a lot of the things that I can think of is, there was this one or not YouTube, but it was, well, maybe it was actually on YouTube for a little while, but Tom Green, the famous MTV era, like early 2000s MTV actor, mostly probably his most famous movie is probably Road Trip, but he was also in like that really one, that movie Freddy Got Fingered, which is like one of the worst shows of all, and what considered to be one of the worst movies of all time. He had like a talk show that actually is kind of similar to like the Joe Rogan podcast in a roundabout way, but he would have people call in, and it was mostly people on 4chan just saying the N word over and over or trolling him. And these were probably people who were, yeah, maybe 15, 16 to 22, 23, 24. And this was like '06, '07, '08. He also had I think Tom Green also like sponsored a show called like Girl Talk, which, is kind of interesting because now there's a lot of these podcasts where you have like one dude or one or two dudes, and then they're usually got like guys in their 30s or 40s or maybe even older than that, but like we'll say 40s or late 30s or something. And they have this like, it's like one or two of them, and then there's like 12 Instagram chicks who are probably like maybe even as young as 18, but we'll say 18 to like maybe 20, 26, 27. And it's just like them yelling at these girls, and then all these dudes, including maybe the people on the panel, are like subbing to these girls on OnlyFans and following them on Instagram and stuff. So like the girls are kind of getting what they want, right? They're getting the attention, um, but they're also getting harassed a lot too, which is fucked up. But there was this show Girl Talk, and they would like have like guys called in for like relationship advice, and they would troll them too. It was the same thing. There was also there's this online game called Habbo Hotel where a lot of people would raid, where they would join a Habbo Hotel and, dress up as like Men in Black agents and with afros and stuff, and they would literally make like swastikas. They would like line up and make like swastika type imagery inside this game that was for like kids. Habbo Hotel was for like 7-year-olds, and these like teens and early 20-somethings would raid it and do this fucked up stuff. Now these people, again, this is 15 years ago. Now these people, if they were 20 years old, they are now 35. If they were 23, 4 years old, they're now close to 40. So basically, the reason why I bring this up is because the more I've effectively deleted all my social media accounts. I do have this YouTube channel, which nobody follows. I mean, nobody watches my stuff. I have one subscriber, whoever you are, thank you. But, all these websites that were pretty prominent back in, or that are pretty prominent even today, are starting to act very similar to 4chan in 2006, 2007, 2008. And what I mean by that is it's all stuff that's numbed you to life, right? That's the numbness of it all is what's really it's all about. Yes, modern day Facebook it's now like AI slop and it's generated crap. Twitter is filled with, people just talking about how you suck if you're even like if you're not slurping off Trump all day. YouTube seems to be pushing algorithms, I would say, for like right-wing content, but I could be wrong on that. I do see some left-wing content getting pushed too now, which is good. But it's mostly just like a lot of these platforms, Facebook, Twitter, maybe even Instagram. I've never had an Instagram, but I have, occasionally clicked on an Instagram profile through a Google search. All these platforms are kind of turning into 4chan from 2007. I mean, you're seeing more and more kind of like numbness to Nazi memes, numbness to just general, maybe some sort of image of like an image that looks kind of gross or painful. You're seeing that, the AI images, which in a lot of ways, a lot of those AI images, they look kind of disturbing. Like when you see one for like where like a dude has like 6 fingers and one of the fingers is really long and you're just like, what the fuck? Or you see like a picture where it's like you can tell that they asked like, hey, create a picture with this word, with this sentence in it or whatever, and then the sentence is like fucked up or like it's like out of order or something and it looks bizarre. I recently saw one of the posters for the new Fantastic Four movie, which it doesn't really look that good to me, but I might go see it just because if I'm bored, if I can find people to go see it with. But one of the images for the poster for like to advertise for the film, it looked like AI slop. I mean, the mouths were all like the exact same. The fingers looked and the hands looked kind of the same, and it was like kind of disturbing looking. You're like, this is weird. This is fucking kind of fucking strange. But anyway, yeah, I mean, so basically what we're seeing is the not even so much, it's not necessarily the content, and it's not even necessarily the way that the content is generated. Again, we have, AI art in a lot of places. We have a lot of AI YouTube shorts where, it's that one chick or that one guy's voice and it's, describing something that's AI, and it's AI generated. And it'll be like, this baby cat was abandoned by its mother and it was taken in. And it's like you look at the cat in the first picture and it's like a black cat. And then this family was so beautiful to nurse it to full health. And then the cat's like orange. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, duh, this is fucking not real. And the premise is, it's again, that wasn't really happening in say 2006, 7 on 4chan, but the guttural response to numb you to everything is what it's doing. And that's where the overlap is, and that's where the similarity is. I really do believe that society started to completely end the way that we know it in 2007. I think that there's a lot, there's plenty of discussion for other factors, but the over-reliance on technology and whether it was, again, Photoshop doctored, images back then, now again, AI slop. All of it is designed to either A, make you fearful of your life, jealous of somebody else and what they have or their lifestyle that they're living, anxious about things, And also just rotting your brain by wasting your time. It's all designed to waste your time. There's nothing wrong with killing an hour before bed or whatever, you have nothing to do, and maybe you don't want to get your heart rate up playing a game of Counter-Strike or League of Legends or whatever. So instead you just watch some AI, whatever, some YouTube video or some crap. I'm not necessarily against that. However, this is not just something you do for 30 minutes to an hour before bed after on a Tuesday after work and school. This is, a lot of people, it's their entire day-to-day life experience. And I think that is very, very disturbing and very, very damaging, to the point, maybe we're at the point of no return. I really don't know. I really don't know. Do people just, they don't want to go outside much anymore? Everybody wants to be an influencer. Everybody wants the passive income. Everybody apparently thinks that, if you become an influencer, you get 30 grand a month in passive income or some shit, which most people don't. Nobody socializes IRL anymore. We're now at the point where a lot of people seem to hate each other online or offline. I meet people at work who say things like they only want to use the checkout part of a grocery store because they don't want to talk to a person bagging your groceries. They can't even just say hello and a 30-second conversation as you're getting rung up about, hey, how's it going? Oh, hey, did you find everything okay? They don't, even that's being viewed as a nuisance to people now. But people then go to bed at night feeling unfulfilled because they're sleeping in a bed by themselves. They don't have a wife. They don't have a husband. They don't have friends to talk to. They don't have people to hang out with on a Friday night. Well, the problem is you've been numbed to everything. And or we're now at the point where you're not even just numb to it. You might be angry at anything you see. I really don't know if this is this the end. I mean, it very well could be. Which, if that's the case, then I just want to say, to everybody, I hope your life is, I hope you can break bad habits and be more open-minded to whether it's a new hobby, a new idea, a new relationship, a new, of any sort, friendship, mentorship, being a mentor, being a mentee, obviously girlfriend, boyfriend. I'm hoping that you find these things. It's not too late. I don't think it is, but it might be, though. I don't think it is, though. But we're getting, goddamn, is it close? There's that stupid doomsday clock meme. It's like, oh, we're only 8 seconds to midnight or whatever. And a lot of that's just bullshit, just people trying to feel like they're important. But the real doomsday clock is just the numbness of everybody and the lack of social connections. And the local community, I guess, the feeling of local community. If there's one thing, again, if there's one thing that just needs to improve, and I am more left-wing, than most lonely males. I mean, the lonely male phenomenon seems to then skew to a bunch of Trumpers, which sucks, because I think Trump's actually going to make social connections worse. I mean, now it's like you can't even be, he's trying to instill this thing where it's like, oh, it's Hispanic people's fault, or it's trans people's fault. And it's like, it's just the fault of your internet addiction. And not just you, but the collective you. Your friend's internet addiction. That girl down the street's internet addiction. That guy who your coworker at insert gas station or supermarket or wherever you work. The lack of social connections is really destroying this country and world. And I do believe that Trump is severing some of this. I don't think he's encouraging it. I'm not going to sit here and say the Democrats are really encouraging it too much either. But I do think Trump runs a platform on more anger, fear, and hatred. I mean, you don't have to think everybody is, I know it's like, yes, the left does do this overly lovey-dovey stuff sometimes of maybe marginalized communities. It's like, no, I really don't think most trans women are these beautiful creatures that can do no wrong. But people are, you still should treat people with respect. Yeah, most Hispanic people, maybe if they're here legally or illegally, most of they're not the reason why you're struggling in life. If anything, I'll be honest with you, the Hispanic people I see, they have tighter social bonds than, I mean, I don't know if they're here, I don't know if they're legal or illegal or whatever, but the Hispanic people I see in general tend to have more social cohesion. I'll walk into a Mexican restaurant by myself for a chicken quesadilla and a margarita or whatever, and I'll see like Hispanic people. The coworkers are mingling a little bit. They're goofing off a little bit. A lot of the people who eat there, Mexican restaurant. You can always tell if a Mexican restaurant's good if there's Mexicans eating there, right? That's like the whole meme. And I'll go to a Mexican restaurant and you'll see Mexican families eating together. I don't see white people, black people doing that stuff as much. I do see a little bit of one of the places, I have two jobs right now, but one of my jobs, there's a large Asian community there because it's in a pretty Asian area of where I live. And I do see them eating lunch and stuff together and talking a little bit too. So I'm happy to see that. But I really do believe that a lot of people's, and by the way, I don't think it's just white and black people who have this socialization issue, but maybe we're the ones who really are struggling here. I really think that internet addiction and the numbness that we've been seeing since, again, right around the mid 2000s, I really think this is just now we're 20 years older. Now we're 17 years older or whatever. And I think that's, now you're a full-fledged adult, but you don't feel that way. I mean, I'm approaching mid-30s and I don't feel that way. You'll one of my favorite episodes of The Twilight Zone is an episode called Walking Distance. And it's like a season 1, I think it's season 1 episode 8 or 9. And I truly believe that in Avengers Endgame, the scene where Thor goes back in time and his mom recognizes that it's not the Thor from the current timeline, it's a Thor from from the alternate timeline. When his mom recognizes that, I truly do believe that scene was inspired by Walking Distance, because that exact scene happens in that episode of The Twilight Zone. And the main character of the episode is this like 35-year-old guy who's like not, he looks like an adult, and I'm like, Jesus, I'm getting close to that age and I don't think I look that way. I mean, I still get carded for if I buy a Bud Light or whatever. Anyway, this little video is getting a little bit longer, but yeah, the numbness and of the mid to late 2000s that I really think we're stuck in, I really do believe is causing just the destruction of our country. And I really think that people need to detox their brain from the internet. Everyone's addicted to it. Everyone thinks they're a temporarily embarrassed influencer. There's that John Steinbeck quote, like, socialism will never take off because everyone thinks they're a temporarily embarrassed millionaire. Well, I do wonder if this anti-social media lifestyle that I really want people more to live, I wonder if it'll ever take off because everybody thinks they're a temporarily embarrassed influencer. Have a good day. Hopefully some people listen to this. I don't know.